Have you ever said no and then immediately felt the need to explain it? Not just a sentence, but a paragraph, maybe even 3. You listed your reasons, you justified your time, you softened the impact. And after all that effort, you still felt uneasy. Not relieved, just quieter on the outside, but louder on the inside. A single question lingering. Did I say too much or not enough? There's a very specific feeling here. It's not just anxiety, it's something more subtle, a kind of internal negotiation. You say no, but your mind keeps talking, replaying the message, editing it, predicting their reaction. This isn't random. In behavioral psychology, this is linked to approval-seeking behavior. Your brain is trying to reduce social risk, because at a biological level, rejection has always meant danger. Thousands of years ago, being excluded from a group meant losing protection, losing resources, sometimes even survival. So your brain evolved a strategy: avoid conflict, maintain connection, stay safe. And one way it does that is by over-explaining. But here's what matters most. You are not weak for doing this. You are not broken. You are adaptive. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you. For some people, especially those with detail-oriented thinking styles, this comes from bottom-up processing. Your mind builds truth from details. So when you explain, you're not trying to justify, you're trying to be precise, accurate, complete. And that's not something to fix. But for others, there's a different pattern underneath, one that doesn't come from logic, but from memory. This is where we enter something deeper, a trauma response known as fawning. Most people know fight, flight, or freeze, but fawn is quieter. It says, stay agreeable, keep them happy, don't create tension. From a neuroscience perspective, this response is linked to the brain's threat detection system. When your brain senses emotional risk, it activates patterns that once helped you stay safe, not physically, but socially. Think of your brain like a smoke detector. It doesn't just respond to fire, it responds to steam, sometimes even shadows. Over-explaining is what happens when the alarm is a little too sensitive. So now you're caught between two systems. One part of you wants autonomy, the other wants approval. And when you say no, those systems collide. So you soften it, you pad it, you explain it. Not because the no is unclear, but because the fear is loud. There's another layer here: social perception. People unconsciously assess confidence based on how much someone explains themselves. Those with higher perceived confidence tend to speak in conclusions, not justifications, because explanation can signal uncertainty, and uncertainty invites negotiation. There's also something called the scarcity principle. We value what feels limited. When your time, your energy, your availability are always explained, they start to feel negotiable, accessible, expandable, and over time, less respected. So how do you change this pattern without becoming cold or distant? Not by forcing confidence, but by understanding your behavior. First, name the pattern. The moment you feel the urge to over-explain, pause. Just notice it. Instead of reacting, you're observing, and observation weakens automatic patterns. Second, separate sharing from defending. Ask yourself, am I sharing or am I defending? Sharing feels open. Defending feels tense, urgent, like you're trying to prove something. Third, use a closed sentence. Instead of giving reasons, give decisions. I can't make it on Friday. Stop there. No follow-up, no expansion. Fourth, allow the silence. After you say less, there will be space, and your brain will want to fill it. But silence is where new patterns form. You teach your brain that nothing bad happens when you don't over-explain. Finally, rebuild internal safety. At the core of this habit is a lack of internal reassurance, so your brain looks for it externally, through approval, through validation, through explanation. But real change happens when safety comes from within, not from how others react, but how you respond to yourself. Think of your energy like a container. Every explanation is a small leak. One leak doesn't matter, but over time you feel empty without knowing why. Now imagine something different, a container with boundaries, not rigid, not closed, just intentional. You choose when to give and when to hold. That's what a boundary is, not a wall, a filter. You don't need to earn the right to say no. You don't need to explain your existence or justify your limits. There will be moments when your voice feels smaller than your fear, when silence feels uncomfortable, when explanation feels safer. That's okay. Change doesn't start with confidence. It starts with awareness. And then one sentence. Short, clear, complete. No. And nothing after it.